Hi, it's Dr. Labengar from Topeka Public Schools, and today I wanted to talk to you about an activity I've been doing with my students that I'm really happy with, and hopefully it's something that other people might be interested in. And I call it paraphrasing practice, saying it in your own words. So, what I do every day now, pretty much, is my bell work is related to vocabulary development. And in the past, I've used other models for vocabulary development, say the Frere model, um, and I wasn't real happy with it because what I found is students were copying and pasting quite a bit, or not completing the whole, for the Frere model, all the different boxes. They might fill out one or two. They'd get the definition or maybe a synonym, that sort of thing. So with paraphrasing, since they put it in their own words, they're less likely to go out and copy and paste. Um, Before I go too much further, I did want to mention I got this idea from um, this book, The Paraphrasing Strategy, which is from the University of Kansas, and it's dated. It's from 1984, but it's where I got the idea. So I do want to give them credit for that. Let me go back to this. So um, again, my main goal was vocabulary development, and there's progression to it in the sense that I like to go from words to phrases to sentences. And I'm getting the words from the text. So another nice part of this is, again, is my bell work. This is how we get started with class. Is it also allows me to start pre-reading. Um, it's a pre-reading activity and start activating the student schema. And also by using these sentences, and I try to keep it under, usually like the most I'll do is five, my students. Um, it gives them some idea before we start reading a passage. The other thing, perspective is actually a tier two word, an academic vocabulary word. And so it gives me a space to start to introduce academic vocabulary to the students. And then the other part of it is that I have a little progression to this also. So paraphrasing um, practice, as I said, it go from word to phrase to sentence, and then it can go to paragraphs. And when you start paraphrasing paragraphs, in a sense, it lends itself really well to summarizing, which is very important for students to be able to do. And so, as far as a reading skill, I'm trying to move towards um, not just reading comprehension by understanding the vocabulary, but also towards developing the skill of summarizing. The other thing, paraphrasing is very important as a life skill in conversation, and so that students or anybody, when they're listening to someone, they can paraphrase back to that person what they understand and what they hear. So those are longer term goals. In the short term, really, I'm really focused on vocabulary development. So the two things that I'm looking for now, I paired this with Pear Deck um, because I want to do some formative assessment. I don't know if the students know these words or not, or if they understand the phrases or sentences. So what I'll do is in Pear Deck, I'll have them start and answering. I'll show you what that looks like. So then students are putting in their definitions or their own words. So while um, it's projected to them, I can watch them in real time, try to figure out the words and see what they're missing, uh, what they understand, and this is a huge help to me. And it's really helped me with students to understand which students are getting it and which ones are not. Again, in my old models, I didn't really have a way of doing this. The other thing with the paraphrasing, since they're putting in their own words, it's hoping that they'll be able to remember more and that they'll take that on. uh, as they go along. The other thing for me with ESL students is if we take something like big picture, uh, literally taking that's just a large picture. It's hard for second language learners to always understand the different idioms that we use or types of figurative language. So using paraphrasing practice has given me an opportunity to bring up idioms. It also lets me show you how words are put together, like sight or lose sight is something, those two words go together often, or take lessons. So it allows me to introduce some phrases that go together. So also helping with vocabulary development and understanding in English. So I, I'm really happy with how this has been working in my classroom. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it gets students working in English and with the language. And I hope that you too will find it helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to me.